Yep, it's almost Friday. Almost Friday. Yeah. Friday. No. Almost Friday, shall I say. So today's still Thursday. And I am actually out and about today. As usual, on this meditative, I call it the meditative marathon jog, because that's what I just been doing, and that is just to follow my path. And my path right now is to get up and jog a marathon very slowly. So I've just been doing that. Just get up and jog a marathon. Yep, just get up, go and jog a marathon. It's not about the pace, but it's about the endurance. The endurance in it. That's what it's all about. Yeah, it's about the endurance in it. Yep. Yeah, it's about the endurance. That's what it's all about. Just that endurance. Really amazing too, because I never thought I'd be doing this, but it is a path for me right now. So I just go ahead and do it. So that's what I sort of just been doing. Listening to my own self and just doing. So yes, it was a beautiful day yesterday. Let me see the volume in this thing. Okay, it's actually good. Did my volunteer service yesterday. It's really funny. A friend of mine asked me the other day, when are you going to get a real job? I said, this is a real job. I said, giving service is a real job. So I've had all type of jobs. Yes. So yes, I hear that a lot. And that judgment too. Yeah. But what is done lately, it has become inspiring. And it has also allowed me to welcome everybody's path, no matter what it is. Just welcome it. And be able to see that everybody has a uniqueness inside of them. It's funny how we're very quick to judge what we do not understand or what we do not know. It's also funny how every day when we, especially here downtown in Atlanta, when we hear people saying, yeah, I'm tired of these homeless guys coming up to me to beg for money. Yeah, I can agree with that. But the truth behind it is something that you did not wish upon your enemy. Because there's a very powerful psychological preference, or shall I say, whatever word I want to use behind it. It is one of those things that makes you realize the understanding of the mind, how weak and how powerful it is. So a lot of time when people actually come and beg you for money, it isn't intentional. It is, how do I call it? Extremely painful psychologically. It's like being bitten with a stick physically for hours and hours. It is one of those things that the mind cannot just control. It is not intentional. And I think it's very, very funny that most people will just look at it like, yeah, they're coming up to me. Oh, I'm tired of them begging me for money. And that is just because they have never, ever take time to actually seek or try to understand the reason behind somebody coming to beg you for money. It is so funny, including our what we call top leaders, government officials, because it's very easy to go in there and debate on, yes, we don't like people who come into tourists and begging for money. But the reason behind it is absolutely deeper than that. It is something to do with what I call the oblongata, the brain, that side of the brain when it's truly, truly weak. Is amazing, because when somebody actually comes to you and asks you for money, all you got to do is just turn them down with love if you don't have. And if you have, give with love. Because when you give with love, not with anger, you help that person heal. But so many people do not understand what's behind it. So they giving it in an arrogant manner or an attitude of I'm better than you. Yeah. It's really funny how we're very quick to call on Christ and all this type of stuff. But yet in reality, none of his practices do we ever put into place. Another thing also that people don't realize is a lot of the homeless people that you see on the street, they're not uneducated. They are not on drugs. It is just something that happens that cannot be controlled. Though some of those homeless people that you pass by, once upon a time are just like you, jobs, you name it, cars, houses. But because of this thing called life, things just happen. And when things like that happen, does that mean they're bad people? No. And I think those things that just happen for a lesson for us all to be grateful. It's really funny how we talk down on people too. How we make the homeless person feel. Yeah. One thing that I get a lot is how anyone that has let me just put it and say the Judeo's mindset cannot be friends with you or conversate with you unless they ask this question: do you believe? Are you a believer? And to me, right there, that differentiates. The moment somebody asks, are you a believer? That's that person telling you, I'm better than you. I can teach you my way. That's just the way I look at it. Yeah, and I know this might sound funny, but the moment somebody asks you, are you a believer? And they want to put their ideology upon you, it is just pure saying I'm better than you. So in a categorization of things, truly, it means you're being racist, whether you want to like it or not. But to use that word racism also in my agenda means giving power, but in reality, I look at it as child play. It means there's a side of the brain that is seeking wisdom that many have yet to operate upon. And when you have yet to operate upon that side of the brain, you're always going to think that you're better than other people. Beautiful neighborhood. I always say this: consciousness, alignment with the universe doesn't mean your material things. It means the ability to be able to listen to nature. Lately, I've been speaking with the sun a lot lately. I just love the sun shining in my eyes and being able to speak to it. I love the moon, being able to speak to it. And I know people will look at it funny, but there's just something when I speak to that sun or the moon, my need for that moment is always met. However you want to look at it is another different form. Because the sun, I don't have to argue about or prove. But anything else, there is a but behind it, which allows me to think and want to question. I don't have to question the sun. I don't have to question the moon. I just know that it's there, that there's just that energy inside of it, which in many cases, women should even know more better than that, because every time of the moon, it reverses the energy in your womb. And I'm not going to say it in a funny way, but yes, that's when it directs. So pretty much, we're more connected to nature than we realized. So going back to that topic on the judging a homeless person, many times when we hear the word homeless, we see people who are on drugs and hide from that reality. But when you face that reality, you realize you were never homeless. You realize you're wealthy beyond you could ever think about. Once you get out into that mode and face it psychologically, spiritually, you realize the abundance of life never leaves you. You're wealthy beyond imagination. And that feelings becomes, the moment you step your foot on the ground and look up in the sky and breathe, you have all the wealth that you need. And that's just the thing right there. And like I always say, many, and I mean many, all their energy is on the material. Most people, their title, their houses and their cars is number one. So that's why a lot of time in the Judeo, I wouldn't say our culture, in some of the Judeo teaching, when many loses that material things, they succumb to different things. But when your soul is number one, yourself comes first, then the material. So those things can come and go and you will still be the same without getting out of balance. So those type of things, when you talk about it, I just laugh these days, because whatever it is out there in your brain that you call your higher self is you. Because if you do not have your thinking mechanism, your thought process, it will be hard for you to believe in whatever system that you wanna that you upbring. Because if you're that you came up with, should I say? Because if your brain is not intact, certain things you just don't know about. The birds are singing. And this thing right here has become time for me to go deep into my thoughts. Because when you go deep into your thoughts, someone else speaking about consciousness, about your higher self, you are able to sit down there attentively and listen. Last couple of years since I started thinking for myself, it doesn't matter where I go, I listen attentively with the hope of wanting to learn something new. Whether I go to a church or a mosque, I'm listening. And every time I go in there and listen to at these places, I always have a question, because unlike when I wasn't listening, I was just listening to fill the gap. I needed that fix. Most of the things in these places make sense. But when I wasn't looking for that fix, because those things can be like a drug. You go down there, you're looking for that void that you think is missing. But in reality of it all, that missing part is just inside of you sleeping. So now when I go to those places, it never seemed to surprise me. Because now I begin to question some of the things that they said, and I question in my head now and just say, okay, does this make sense or it doesn't? So most of the time, because we go into these places with our emotion vulnerable, we do not get to learn the purpose of it all, or why we're there. So on my feet, I've learned a lot. It's really funny when you look at all these texts, these philosophers from spirituality, whatever you want to call it, that makes you hot, that gives you that peace of mind. All these things were written when men were moving one foot at a time. Those days, man was walking many, many, many miles. And walking many, many miles on your feet opens a set of chakra in you that allows you to create and write one of the best things that you could ever think of. And that's not the way I look at those things. But now that man and woman do not even walk 2 to 3 miles a day, it is very difficult to find that same peace within that. Most of us don't even know what it feels like to walk 3 miles, or let alone 4 miles. And those things, what it does, it opens the side of the brain, your God side. So a mindfulness walking 3 miles, 4 miles a day and going into nature releases more stress than we think. Just going out by yourself and saying Om releases stress. And all these little things that keeps you vibrate and balance. We ignore it, but we choose to listen to the noise. And I mean that noise is not just on the street. That noise is also in your synagogue, because what happens is too much noises becomes emotional. And when your emotion is too much involved, you can hear things just to feel your emotion but not understand it. So yes, another beautiful day today for me to come out and do this what I call a marathon meditative jog. Gotta be careful, the road is winding. I hear the car coming, so I'm gonna move to the side. I wanted to go on the trail, but it's still a little wet, so gotta be careful. So yes, that's what I was thinking of today. And most of the time when I'm actually talking, I'm just letting my subconscious mind guide me. And I'm just speaking what comes into my mind. So, and when the speaking started to become to where I know I need to stop, so I just stop. And that was my thought of the day. Pretty much it comes to never, ever judge people. The homeless man on the street is just as worthy as you. And you'd be so surprised. Giving without your ego creates a peace of mind. So yes, woo-wee. I got that incline right here real quick. Yeah, I'm getting warm up now. So I think I must have done like close to like 30 marathons right about now. Hey, look at that dog. So in this pretty neighborhood, and I'm just being grateful. Let me stop a bit and finish this thing. And happy, I guess today's what? Thursday, should I say? And I'm gonna say one love.